happening on my phone because apparently the computer or the camera attached to my computer um, does not work and will not let me go live that way. So I think I'm going to be chatting with you. Ooh, I don't know. How do I? Okay, I'll be chatting with you on my computer and talking to you here. The thing is, I've been spending the last like 40 minutes trying to get this set up that I don't have my beverage, I don't have my notes in front of me. Like this is just a mess, but I'm so glad you're all here. So, I wanted to talk about Evil Dead Rise. I saw this on Thursday night, the night before it came out, so the 20th or something, and I was super stoked. Saw the trailer, right? Everyone lost their minds with this trailer. Um, I have things to say. I would love to hear from you guys. So if anyone jumps or when anyone jumps in, wants to jump into the chat, please do. So again, I'll start with my spoiler-free stuff. And because I don't have my notes, oh, you know what? I think my notes connect. They like, isn't that a thing? Oh, my notes are on my computer because they Bluetooth connect from my phone. Yes. Okay, so um basically what is Evil Dead Rise, right? Let's talk about the premise of Evil Dead Rise. So Evil Dead Rise, I wish that I could have had the camera be this way. And it wouldn't let me do that. This is not ideal, but here we are. So, this is already off to a terrible start. I really was super excited to do this. I can't believe that, of course, something like this went wrong. So, Evil Dead Rise, so premise. Okay, so it's like a spin-off, right, of the original spin-off in the franchise, essentially takes place in the same universe as the other movies and has to do with, no spoilers, Book of the Dead and such. But it's a radical like reimagining, if you will. New setting, which is not a spoiler. It's in like a high-rise kind of apartment building. The character, like, it's different. It's a whole different vibe. It's very much still an Evil Dead movie, do not get me wrong. It is very Evil Dead, but the vibe is slightly different. Once you add like a family aspect, I think it changes the dynamic. Did something happen to my throat just now? I feel like I was choking. Whatever. It'll be live. So, yeah, I feel like it's like a reimagining kind of the franchise, and it branches out, but I feel like it branches out in a lot of great ways. So the story structure, like for me, like when I do the spoiler-free part we're doing right now, I'll kind of go into, like, we'll talk about the story, we'll talk about the blood and the guts and the acting and the directing. When I go into spoilers, we'll just go into like the beginning, the middle, and the end of the movie, right? And I will make it very clear that we're talking spoilers. So, although I appreciated the attempts at backstory with the characters in this movie, again keeping it spoiler-free, I still feel like the characters were kind of underdeveloped a lot. Like the attempt was there and I appreciated that, but there was still something missing. It's almost like the characters were just known for like a thing that they liked or a thing that they did. When I'll go into more specifics in the spoiler part of the video, but overall I liked what they were trying to do with building the relationships, but some of it worked and some of it did not work. So it was a little janky. A lot of the stuff in the movie to me was janky. It was a lot of high highs and some low lows. And so I was Confucian the whole time. When it comes to the blood and the guts and the gore, it delivered. It delivered. I don't think it delivered as well as the 2013 remake did, but this is not trying to be the 2013 remake. This is trying to be an extension of that. So there's like, I mean, the Red Band trailer does show a lot of the violence that's in the movie. So when certain like scenes were playing out, I was like, oh, this is the part from the trailer. But there is still a lot that goes on that you do not see in the trailer. A lot. So, I mean, we've got the cheese grate. This is stuff that's in the trailer, guys. The cheese grater, the eating of the glass, the scalping, right? Like those things, even though you're seeing them in the trailer, they pack a different punch when you're watching them in the movie. And the third act. The third act almost makes up for most of the things I was not appreciating about the beginning of the movie. So, when I should check the chat, right? I'm over here yapping away. So when this is not doing what I wish it would do. So as I'm watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, I think I'm liking this, I think I'm not liking this, and things are and are not going the way that I want them to go. I don't love this. Let's do this. I'm sorry, I have to move things around on this computer again because it wouldn't let me go live from my laptop. I apologize for saying laptop. Okay, so yeah, again, this is the spoiler-free. We're talking spoiler-free stuff with Evil Dead Rise. Please jump into the chat if you have any questions or concerns or hate everything that I'm saying. So, yeah, the character building, there was an attempt. Didn't love it all. Violence, they did good. They did good. The acting was mostly great. There were... most everyone's fine. I feel like everyone was just kind of fine in the movie. The mom delivers. And the little girl delivers. I don't like kid actors. I usually do not like kid actors. I don't know why. Like I don't know. Most, you know what? Lately they're good, right? Like in movies, lately they're really good. I have to like suspend my suspension of disbelief when there is a child in a movie or a TV show or something, because if the acting's not good, I'm like, well, I don't believe you. Obviously, the same goes for anyone, but this little girl makes the movie for me. She was so good and so sweet. Again, no spoilers yet. Mom, you know, Mommy Loves You to Death. She's the highlight of the trailer, right? She also delivers. So, if if you watch the trailer and you're like, I want Mom to lose her mind, she's gonna very much so. And I think watching the trailer, I thought that would be a small part of the movie, and it's a big part of the movie. It's a lot. Most of the movie is that. So, loved that. Loved them. The main protagonist is fine. Spoilers later. This is spoiler free right now. She's fine. The other kids are fine. I don't want to say anything else about any other potential characters, but until later. But everyone's fine. For the most part, good. Can I say fine one more time? Now, directing. The director, don't know who this is. He did some movie called like Hole in the Ground or something, I guess they said. Beautifully shot. The movie looks beautiful. The cinematography is great. A lot of the camera angle, I mean, it's a very well-made movie. It looks, production value-wise, great. I did notice some homages to the original, although they didn't do it as successfully as the 2013 remake did. Oh, you know what? I think I'm looking at the chat, but I'm not. Guys, I can't figure this out. I don't want to hide the chat. Live chat. Oh, golly, you guys. Oh my gosh, you guys. Maybe I can. How do I make the... Okay. Ooh, is there a way for a case? I'm stoked. Yeah, I love the movie, but it has some picky points like you have. Excited to hear. Yes. Never heard about the director before either. Yeah, no idea. Going to check it out on the morrow. Better than Evil Dead. I think Evil Dead 2013 is better, but I've heard a lot of people say the opposite. So, I mean, still go see it. The thing is, regardless of if it's better than the 2013 movie or not, it's definitely like a sister or... oh, my phone's dying too. How lovely. It's like a sister or a cousin to the 2013 movie. So it's very much in the same vein. If you liked the violence of the 2013, you will like the violence here. And they do deliver with the violent situation. I can't look at the chat on my computer like I thought. I could. So I have to look at my phone, but I want. Oh, wait. Okay. Hey, I found a way. Life will find a way. Okay. I figured it out, kind of. Okay, thank you. I'll get there. Yeah, geez. Someday we'll streamline this. It'll be cool. So, okay, back to I'm gonna look at my notes where I left off. What was I talking about? Oh, the directing. Yes, beautifully shot. The lighting is great. It pays homage to the original trilogy in a lot of ways. I don't think, again, as well as the 2013 film does, but there are attempts. There are a lot of things you'll go, oh, that's just like in the original, but they did it this way because we're in an apartment building, right? Um, Overall, because we're doing spoiler free, which means some of you have to jump off soon, and I apologize. Unless you want to chat more, I would love to. If you have any questions, ask me, and I will answer in spoiler free form. But overall, it's a creepy, gory, fun time. It is a fun movie. It is a good time. I there's some great moments, but I feel like it was missing some of the charm of the originals because even the 2013 remake, which is like dead ass serious, has a playfulness to it. And there is that here, but for some reason it fell short for me, and I kept being taken out of the movie. I think the demon needed more of that like devilish sense of humor. I don't think that was fully present, and there's a sense of urgency like the movies usually build to something. There is something in this third act that is incredible. I thought it was so batshit crazy, but it didn't build to that. The movie's just continually happening, and then suddenly we're in the third act, and I was like, okay, all right, maybe I missed something. I don't know. Let's see. Makes a lot of sense. I'm hearing the same with others as well. I jumped on a few minutes late. What do you think about the lead actor? Yes, she was great. So performance-wise, I was saying the mom slash demon. That's not a spoiler. Mom slash demon, fantastic. What I will say, it's not spoiling anything. They give us a lot of the family before. Yo, Richard. They give us a lot of the family before anything happens. So, whereas in the 2013 remake, and I will say this movie does this better, I think, is we get to know the characters a little bit better. So when these terrible things start happening, and they make the characters a little more likable. So when terrible things start happening, I was like, oh no. Where in the 2013 remake, I'm like, you're all kind of miserable. So like you can all like whatever, and you're basically just watching, like you're waiting for them, the terrible things to happen to them. She was great. Her performance was awesome. She was great before shit went down. She's great after the shit went down. And then the little girl in the movie, for me, makes the movie. She was so genuinely sweet. She's funny. Her performance is totally grounded. When she's scared, I'm scared. Loved her. Loved those two. Our main protagonist is good enough, but when I get into the spoilers, I'll get into the things I didn't like as much. Or I guess I can say a little bit now. I don't know if you heard my back just crack. Without getting into spoilers, specifically, there's a lot of like, which happened a little bit in the 2013 remake. There's a lot of, I'm standing here watching this terrible thing happen, and I'm just going to stare at it, and I'm not going to react appropriately. And that happens so much in this movie, in my opinion, that that's what made the sense of urgency kind of go away for me. The terrible things are happening, and it's as, I don't know, like you're watching paint dry. Like, I understand having a couple shots of like, like a slow zoom on someone's face when something terrible happens, but literally when we're at the 80-minute mark, it shouldn't still be happening. You should know that shit's not okay, and your reaction needs to be go, not like a slow, like, you know what it reminded me of? This is and it's not to this extreme, of course. The movie is a good movie, but remember in Scary Movie 3 when, is it 3? It's 3. Pamela Anderson in the opening, I think like what's her face gets her head cut off or something, and her face is literally like on the ground, and Pamela Anderson's like, "Are you okay?" And then like it's a dead head, like it's severed head, and she picks it up and she's like, "Are you okay?" That. It's a lot of that. There is are you okay? Literally, yes. That happens a bunch. So a lot of people seem to be okay with that because they're loving this movie and I want them to, and I want the movie to make a bunch of money, but that it's a bunch, guys. It's so much. There's also this that happens a little bit in the 2013 remake. It happens a lot in this movie. Is I'm standing in the kitchen and you're standing in the living room and the other person standing in the hallway, and they're all about 9 feet apart, but you're screaming bloody murder and I can't hear you, and I'm screaming bloody murder and you can't hear me. And that also took me out of a lot of things because I would be like, I don't understand why. Because like chaos is happening. You're like, oh my God, because the violence is crazy. So you're gonna cover you're like, nope, 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 nope. But then they cut to like the next person in the other room just like reading a book. And I'm like, guys, what are we doing here? Like literally, if the camera were to pan over, you'd see what's happening in the other room. That's how close these rooms are, and it just was silly. So that kind of bugged me. Anyone have any questions like that I can answer spoiler free-ishly? Yes, I'm watching 2013 for the second time now, and they were literally 6 feet away. Yes, yes, I don't understand. Maybe because in the 2013 movie, spoilers for that because it came out 10 years ago, but specifically when like, oh my gosh, Olivia, I think, is in the bathroom and she's like cutting her face and all that stuff, and she screams, no one reacts. Later, Eric goes into that room and she is full on like trying to murder that man, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs, and no one comes to his aid. It's only like 9 minutes later after like her face is like all over the floor and he's again been screaming and smashing things and whatever, that they walk in, they're like, again, like, are you okay? So just know that it's a lot more in this one, in my opinion. But yeah. My boyfriend and I walked out and we were like, huh. Like we walked, like the more I think about it, the more I'm like, oh, I did like this and I did like this, and it was fun. Overall, which is crazy because there's people eating glass and without specifics, lots of grinding and shooting and stabbing and twisting and obviously chainsawing. Um, Still not as much as the 2013 movie, in my opinion, or maybe there was more, but it wasn't as visceral as the 2013 movie. For some reason, the violence in that remake is so like everything is so wet and crunchy and gooey, and there's tons of violence in this movie, but it's not as wet and crunchy and gooey. Those demons sound dampening insulate. You know what? Yes, I did. You know what? I didn't pay extra for the demon sound dampening insulation, so it's my fault. I went for the cheap stuff. Just wasn't as intense as 2013. I kept waiting for it to amp up as high. It was great, but yeah, see, it was a good movie. Like it's not a movie. I don't hate it at all. It's just, and it's not that I was going in with too high of expectations. At the end of the day, it is very much in the same vein as the other one. They could have happened at the same exact time. Like you could say that this was happening at the same time as Evil Dead Rise. And I would believe that. Maybe they did and I missed it or something. But it just doesn't live up technically and like sense of urgency wise and like batshit craziness. Well, no, I can't say it doesn't live up when it comes to the batshit crazy because it sounds like you've seen it, so you know the ending. But even how crazy and awesome the ending is, spoiler free. We're still in spoiler free territory. I don't think the stakes were set to be as high. Do you agree with that? Does that make sense? Like, loved the idea of what they did. They did some stuff. I thought, this is crazy, and I'm in love with what they're doing right now. But I thought it was super cool and gory, but I was not super genuinely scared the whole time, because there are moments where I was like, don't do that, please God, please stop. But I felt like the 2013 film it amped up, like you said. It kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier, and you're like, it can't get any crazier. Oops, wait, it did. Where this one kind of, again, just plays out. Act 1 and Act 2 just kind of are happening, and the pacing was strange. And then all of a sudden, boom, we're in Act 3, and it was weird to me. Okay, I heard great things about the opening. I know maybe we can explore it during the spoiler section. Yes. Well, wait, are you going to listen to my spoilers before you even see the movie? I don't want to do that. But I'm going to go into spoilers in a minute. The opening is really good. I don't know if it, uh, you know what? No, I'm not going to compare that to the 2013 movie because they're trying to do two very different things. The opening to this movie is great. It was very good. It was great and like biblical even. The way it plays out. There is a connection to the opening. We're going to get into spoilers in a second. There's a connection at the end of this movie that kind of links to the beginning of the movie in some way, like all the things are circularity exists, right? It's Earth Day. But I felt like what happens toward the end didn't satisfy me as much as just what I saw on its own in the beginning. The opening was good. The opening was closer to the 2013 remake where there was like a slow, creepy, what is happening? You're uncomfortable. You know something's going to go wrong, but you're not sure what, and it just builds and builds and builds, and then boom, graphic violence. And then it cuts, and then all of a sudden slow, and then again building, 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 and then boom, graphic violence with the visuals. Give me the visuals and the sound. The rest of the movie, although very atmospheric, doesn't always quite live up to that like build and then give me the gratification. I feel like they went for a lot of boom visceral, but not even in regards to like jump scares because I don't remember there being that many jump scares in it either. It just kind of like didn't give itself enough time in some moments to like let us sit in the uncomfortableness. I think maybe that would have been, I don't know, a little better. Opening rocks, yes it did. And then title screen. Yes, that big like, oh, that was so, I can't, you know what? We're going to get into spoilers in a second. Did end with a sequel in sight. This one kind of wraps up. It wraps itself up. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Here we go. Let's say this. Spoiler talk. We're getting into spoilers now. This is the part where the spoilers will come into play. Yes and no. So I'll bounce so you guys can get into spoilers. Okay, look forward to seeing it. Just thank you. Yay, thank you very much. I will do much better next time when my computer decides to work or something. I don't know. But thank you for jumping on. Okay, so we're going to do the spoiler part now, right? Yes, it does lend itself to a sequel. If you... I'm assuming we've seen Army of Darkness. We've seen, the original trilogy. In the original trilogy, in Army of Darkness specifically, we see Bruce Campbell in the long, long ago, and he comes across 3 books, and he's like, no one mentioned 3 books. Well, in this movie, we come across a book, and it's on a vinyl, and that's in the trailer, and then they play the vinyl and whatever, but what's being played on the vinyl, I found out that the voice on the vinyl is Bruce Campbell. The voice on the vinyl says, we have found one of the 3 books of the dead, which completely opens up that the original trilogy very much could have happened. This movie exists in its own right, where completely what is it? Oh my god. It's sitting right next to me. Either the Evil Dead remake was a second book, because I think it does look a little bit different. Or it's just like, I don't know, like a slightly redesigned version of that first book, and that this is an entirely different book. This book has literal teeth in it. The visuals are different. We're looking at different pictures of different things and whatever. Beasts and monsters and such in this book, which, again, that's the ending, and I thought it was so cool. But once they said one of the 3 books, I was like, damn. Because I'm like, how did this book with the priest from the 20s get to the cabin, to the something to the blah blah blah, when it's been there all this time? No, literally, we could get another movie in 10 more years. Evil Dead Underground, I don't freaking know, and it'll be another book. So I loved that. Opening scene was great. That whole slow, like the cousins on like the bed being a creeper, and what is it? Yeah, she's being a creeper, and then kind of reminiscent of the first movie where she's like Jack of Spades, Jack of Cards, whatever. the girl in the bed is reading the, like, not looking at the book that the other girl in the room is reading, but she knows the words. That was creeping me out. That was like, I want more of that. Give me that weird uncomfortableness. And then she's like laying down. All of a sudden she's sitting up. Then she flops over. Then we saw this in the trailer, but she jumps up and grabs her cousin and scalps it. Once I saw the cousin earlier, before this scene happens, before this balls to the wall scene happens, um, Wuthering Heights, yep. Before this happens, when the cousin's like talking and just like doing this with their hair, I was like, bitch, I saw the Red Band trailer. I know where this is going. And it goes there. Plays out pretty similarly to what we see in the trailer. Although, oh, my phone's at 10%. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to get up in a second to go get a charger. Although it, do I have a charger in here? No. Plays out differently. There's another like character that's like, I think briefly shown, but whatever, that asshole drinking, he could die. We didn't see what happened to him, right? He got like pulled underwater and they're just like blah 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 blah, like Jaws, nothing happens. But then what's her face like comes out, you know, rises. Oh my gosh, when she had the drone like up to her face, it was just like so gross. Oh, Tyler. I'm gonna have to get a charger in a second and also get Tyler. I love that Bruce Campbell's voice is features. I love this about the books. I'm literally bouncing to find out. Yeah. So there was a pool of blood where he went into the water. So like yeah, he went like blah 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 and then blood. So I guess we didn't need to see what happened. We just know that he met his demise. And I mean, maybe he didn't deserve to die, but he was kind of a douche. Okay. Let me get a charger and I will come back with Tyler for a moment. And if you've watched any of my movie reactions, then you know that Tyler exists. Oh, he got his haircut today. Oh, you guys. Oh, Tyler. Everyone's going to see the haircuts. Who's that man? Oh, Tyler. Did Tyler get a haircut and they give you a bandana? No, you eat your poop. Look at that man. So we love Tyler. Tyler, the whole world, Tyler. Look at that bandana they gave you, man. They said you were so cool. You were such a good man. I want to give you kisses, Tyler, but I watch what you do with that tongue. Everyone say hello to Tyler. I'm going to go put Tyler, go outside or something. I got my chargers now. He's a good man. All right, let's walk around the back of the thing. Let's see how we can make this work. Oh, can I flip it this way? Orientation is locked. Nope. Oh, if I started the other way, maybe I could have. Boo, Wendy Testaburger. We're gonna make this work. I don't know how, but we're gonna make it work. So it's plugged in. Y'all. Oh, well, I guess you can see in my videos when I'm surrounded by like junk. Look at this room. It's like being used as storage because we are renovating the bathroom, and that's the spooky corner that I have not revealed yet. And I keep mentioning a toilet. There's the toilet. So there's that. Let me see. This is insane. I cannot believe my camera didn't work on my phone, and now the charging thing won't stay in the phone. Okay. This is not what I wanted for us. Hi. I think it's charging. I can't get the phone to stay anywhere. I can't get the phone to stay anywhere. Okay. I'm gonna just hold the phone. Try this. Pool of Blood, yes. Little baby Tyler, I got to see the sweet baby. Oh yeah, he was so handsome. I know. I want to give him kisses so bad, that handsome man's, but he, licks his poop and his pee and stuff. So, how Phil was the theater? We were about 65, but I would say about 65%. 70, 75 at the most. Yeah, definitely. That is a beautiful dog, Richard. And Eva, he says hi. He says hi back. Post-pandemic, yes, yeah, no, the theater, um, yeah, about maybe 70, 75% at the most. So roughly the same as yours. And this is a Thursday night showing. So like fans are gonna go to that one. No one was obnoxious. The 2 seats next to us were still open, but all the seats to the left of us were taken. And we did the Dolby Theater. So when I was booking the tickets and getting the seats, the other regular theater was probably already about 75, 80% full. So I believe it has to do well. Let me see. I don't know what I plan to see. I don't know what I plan to see this movie. I'm curious. It's okay. So it's bananas in a lot of ways. I think that the 2013 movie, in my opinion, is more like the violence is, it sounds icky and wet, and the crunches and the cracking and the cutting, it's so intense, the 2013 movie. You get more spectacle with the violence in Evil Dead Rises, but I think the violence hits a little less. There's a little less of a punch because of the spectacle of it all. The spectacle is great. Like, again, it looks beautiful. I don't want to drop my sphere. But I think that because the 2013 was really focused on the horror, the body horror of it all. This one's more focused on the grandiose approach. Maybe that's which I usually love. Like, give me a grandiose approach. Go big or go home. But overall, I think that the 2013 movie had better like kills and violence, and mainly because the anticipation was also there. The one thing though that I said earlier that this movie had going for it is that the characters are a little more likable in this. Although now that we're in spoiler territory, I can talk about the characters and the story. Um, I I loved the mom. So the mom is great. I mentioned her earlier. She's so likable in the beginning. I didn't want to say that in the spoiler-free review because I was actually surprised by that, because they don't show her being a good mom in the trailer. So my perception was like that this is like a beat up family already, and it's not. So that like completely took me by surprise that she's like a really good mom and she's a good sister. Because the other protagonists, like she does say that in the trailer. She says, "Hey, you okay, sis?" So we already knew that. They're sisters. One sister is like maybe on the road, like as a guitar something something, finds out that she's pregnant, goes to see her sister, and the sisters like, "We're being evicted, my husband left, I tried telling you but you don't call me back." Like, it was very like melancholy, like, and you know what, it wasn't melancholy, it was very realistic. I appreciated that they gave us like a family unit that loved each other. Like, they had like a tickle fight moment, and the mom is still like arguing with the kids, but like not arguing with the kids, even at the same time that dad left. They're packing because they're being evicted. They live in this crappy like apartment building, and da 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 da. Like, that's very close to home for me. So I appreciated that aspect and the attempts at like building relationships with these people. It's just that what I noticed was that the character development was more like, um, I'm a tattoo artist and that's my personality. And the other one's like, I, am whatever she did. I'm on the road all the time and too busy for my family, and that's my entire personality. And then I'm the son who likes music, and that's my entire personality. I'm the daughter who wants to go to the like, there was nothing besides that, really. So I wish there was a little more. Let's see. That's what I thought. Down and out, forlorn, beat up family. Yes. That's what, so you get to know the family. But then after a while, I was like, okay, I know the family now. Can something happen? And in my mind, I kept saying, oh my gosh, when shit goes down, um, it's gonna be so insane. Like it's gonna be such a switch is flipped. And I didn't feel like a switch was flipped for some reason. Violent things start happening, but this is what gets me is everyone kind of doesn't react the way you would want them to react, which is just like be scared. Like there's a lot of this. There's a lot of like I'm eating glass and somebody walks in and they're like, "Are you okay?" Or no, or I'm sorry, I'm sorry. What are you doing? I'm eating glass. I'm literally eating glass in front of you. I'm laughing while I'm eating glass and choking up blood. And the shocked expressions crushed it. Um, but it's all that. It's shocked expressions for days. And so the first few times, yes, you are seeing terrible things. You will be shocked. But then later, the sense of urgency was lost for me because again, it's now you've got like, and we're in spoiler territory, so we're gonna go for it. You've got neighbors, you've got the people, the guy down the hall, and the people across the street. You've got mom, you got the kids. Everyone you know is turning into a demon. This is not your first rodeo at this point. I get that it's all happening very quickly, in the course of one night, but after like the 11th person gets their throat ripped out, I need you to act accordingly. So that's when I started like losing my sense of urgency. I think this movie would have benefited from having a more like real-time approach because in the beginning, Buzz, see if I bring him up here, he can't be in this room because it's too crazy and he'll like go and try to leave and fall down the stairs. But being downstairs, he gets sad. I'm sorry, Tyler. I'll be done soon. He ate and went out and I love him, so it's fine. Um, but it seems like it's in real time when we're getting to know the characters, right? But then once the shit starts going down, it feels like they kind of like skip ahead maybe 30 minutes and out. I'm like, there's no time for that. It should not be that this terrible thing happened. You pushed the thing up against the door and then you all went into different rooms. Mom is outside going, open up now. Like you, so why is this one over here with headphones on and this one's over here with the little girl, but then gets up and walks away from the little girl and this one's over here doing this? Like it just made no sense to me. And it happens so many times. And that also that falls into that category of how can no one hear anyone else the whole time? So you've got, besides the person with the headphones on, duh, makes sense. But why would you, well, no, it makes sense. She didn't want them to hear the sound just in case. But yeah, it was a lot of like stupid decision making. After an earthquake happens, why would you crawl into a hole in the ground I mean, there was a vault. I guess that's why maybe he thought there was money in there or something. But it was just a lot of stupid making decisions. A lot of stupid making. So, besides the mom and the little girl, I thought the characters were kind of dumb and they were not fully one-dimensional characters by any means. Like there was an attempt to give them something, but I feel like we are still, there was a lot, maybe there's like a director's cut that's going to have a lot more to it. Let me see. Another thing is we get the mom possession within the first like maybe 30 minutes, right? Like 30, 40 minutes or so probably. It takes a while to like get to shit happening, but once it happens, it happens. And mom is like, I'm a demon now and I'm fucking shit up. Great and all, except then she starts like, attacking the neighbors and blah, blah, blah. And that whole scene through the peephole, a lot of stuff through the peephole was cool. But why didn't we do more with the neighbors until the very end? The very end of the movie, essentially, the like third act, is when they're like, we're gonna bring the neighbors back. And the neighbor characters that are not even in the trailer at all. So thank you for not spoiling that. I'm not gonna get to this part yet, but they all do a thing, right? They all do a thing together. But like, I wish that we could, like, imagine if we had, similar to the way that Eric in the 2013 movie or Scotty in the original is very like dead, deceased, love you for trying, goodbye. And then a bunch of crazy shit happens. And then right when there's like one moment of peace, boom, Scotty jumps out of nowhere. Perfect jump scare. Sam Raimi with the jump scares in the original. And in the remake, it's when David goes back in the house to get the keys, which why would he go to get the keys by himself? But let's not talk about it. And all of a sudden, boom, he gets stabbed in the neck. Eric shows up. So character that you thought was very much dead is possessed and it comes back. Why didn't they give us that moment? Why didn't they give us something like that with any one of the characters that's dead in that hallway? They wait until like way later in the movie, and then that weird thing happens. I did appreciate the "Dead by Dawn, Dead by Dawn." It's cheesy, but I was like, I get it, so it's cool. Um, the homages and throwbacks to the original movies, now that we're talking about it, in this seemed a little more forced than they did in the Evil Dead remake. They were much more organic in the remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. In this one, it seems like a nah. It seems more like a yeah, we see what we did there. So it again like took me out of it a little bit. Um, the one of the ones that I was like, oh, that was nice. I like that they did that. Was the almost the throwaway line of one of the three books of the dead. So that I was like, okay, thanks. Don't shove it down my throat, right? Now, great opening, decent characters, some good acting overall. Blood and guts, blood and guts, blood and guts. Yes, the pacing was weird, but then we get to the hallway scene. And again, spectacle, spectacle, spectacle. It's like spectacle over anything else in this movie. The scene with Mia and we hear a chainsaw off screen. When's that? Tell me when that is in the remake. Cause I'm not picture I'm drawing a blank with that one. I just watched it and of course I still forgot. But in this one, in the new one, in the hallway, we're like, okay, we're getting out of here. Everyone else is dead. There's no basically the reason we're not leaving is because we want mom to get better. Mom's not getting better. We can't all get down, the fire ladder. Well, everyone's dead except for the two of us. We're gonna have to just bounce. We can do this now. There's no reason to stay here. So they attempt to leave, and the bodies that are in the hallway that are just blown apart and ripped apart and whatever start coming alive again. Wish they had done that sooner, but whatever. Start coming alive and start like, I think they start ripping the mom apart, but they start conjoining with the mother to create a literal beast made out of the bodies. It's some real Resident Evil shit, and I loved it. It was so cool. There's basically this giant. And you know what? It gave me the Thing vibes. It's very much the Thing. Even the Thing prequel that came out in like 2011, how like at the end ish, there's like it's like conjoined together with hands and arms and whatever. It's that. And so it's got like tons of hands and arms and like three heads, and it's like it's chasing them and taunting them. It's very intimidating and aggressive, but there were a bunch of times that I didn't feel like I was scared because of the grinding machine that was there. I was scared because I genuinely was like, they might kill this little girl. I wasn't scared for our main protagonist, except for, again, the grinding machine, because I fucking hate grinding machines. But there wasn't much suspense because the characters were still doing stupid shit. The Beast, Deadite, that shit was awesome. That was so cool. Didn't see it coming. Completely caught me off guard. But the characters were still kind of like being dumb, making a lot of noise. Like I was just confusion by how they had not learned by now. So it made me look at the character, at the main protagonist. I don't remember what her name was. That's not good. That's bad. Dana? No, because Danny was the boy with the music. I don't know. But I lost my sense of urgency by the end of the movie. Was the violence graphic? Yes. Was the monster sick? Yes. But it was kind of quantity over quality a bunch of the times, and I was taken out of the movie a lot more times than I wanted to be. I don't know. I'm trying to like sum things up. Um, but that's my spoiler take on the movie since it's been 45 minutes and most of it is me trying to figure out how to get this thing to work. So, any more like fun stuff? What did you guys love? What was your favorite part about the new movie? If you saw it, what was your favorite part about the movie? And if you did not see it, you shouldn't have been watching this because I just gave a lot of shit away. But I don't know. Talk to me in the comments. I love the chat that we have going. This is a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, like I just walked away like being like, okay, that was a movie, cool. Like I walked out of Scream 6, like, did I just fucking love that movie? Like I was so beside myself with how much I loved Scream 6. And I went in with probably low expectations because I overall don't care for Scream 5 that much. It's at the bottom of my list of Scream movies. If you watch my Scream franchise ranking, you would know. But how pretentious. Shut up, James. I walked out of this and was just like, okay, like that happened. Will I watch it again? Absolutely. But it's more like maybe in the background kind of thing, or watching it with someone who hasn't seen it before and maybe has no recollection or knowledge of what's going on because the shock value will be there. I probably shouldn't have watched the Red Band trailer because I think, the scalping would have been a bigger surprise. The eating of the glass would have been a bigger surprise. Also, I don't know if this is just me, but there's a lot of times where a violent act would happen and right when it was getting really like, oh my gosh, it would stop. And the action would like not be completed. And I was like, "Oh, okay, good." But, like, in the 2013 movie, they take you to that point of, like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god," and they might, like, pause for a second, but then they do something, like, will look over and you see, like, another weapon or something, and it gets crazier. It kept elevating. This one was almost like a tease after tease after tease, even though, again, it is violent. The whole tone of the film was great, but yeah, the intensity was lacking slightly. The title card and opening was probably my favorite. That reveal was incredible. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. The coming out of the water, I loved. It's funny because when I was watching the beginning, the opening shot is like a POV. And I was like, this already looks like a cheap POV shot. This is not the demon shot. And then it's revealed to be a drone. So I was like, okay, good. Then later you get the actual demon shot and it is full on Sam Raimi. We are in the streets of LA. So I was appreciative of that. I liked how it cycled back around at the beginning. Oh yeah, I forgot. So yes, the cheap POV. So the ending cycles back to the beginning. This is one thing that bugged me is I was like, they showed like the girl coming out of her apartment. I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna go back to like why, because it says like one day earlier. The opening happens and it says like one day earlier. And I was like, oh, what? So it says that one of the girls, the cousin, I guess, lives in the building where this all happened. But why did it have to play out the way that it did? She like walks through this bloody carnage garage and sees all this blood and guts. And then it basically shows like the three demons, I think, coming back at her. But it was done in probably the least effective way of any of the endings of any of the movies in the franchise to me. And so that's why I think I walked out going, huh. Because I still can watch the original movie and the ending where that super long POV where the demon's like behind a rock